Hi, my name is John Stagg. I'm Chief Executive Officer here at Capital Imaging Services. Welcome to our fourth quarter Chief Chat. I wanted to start off, talk about some statistics, numbers, and it seems like we talk about that a lot here at Capital, but I wanted to put a different perspective on it. We did have a record number in October of MRIs, total procedures. We did over 20,000 MRIs in 1 month, which was amazing for us to be able to see that many patients. Also, we did over 50,000 total procedures in October of 2025. Again, another record. But a lot of times we talk about numbers, talk about statistics, and what does that really mean? And a lot of times what we hear from an executive team is, all you do is talk about numbers. Well, what do those numbers actually mean? What do they tell us? They tell us that people need to be seen, and we try to get them into our facilities faster, more efficient than anyone else. I get calls weekly from friends, family, people that know I have something to do with imaging, and literally ask me to help them get into places in Texas, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, because they can't get in to be seen. They're worried, they're concerned, their doctor wants them to have a procedure done, and they just can't get into a hospital. They can't get in another imaging center. And they're like, hey, is there any way you can get me in sooner than 2 weeks, a month, even 2 months? Sometimes they get told they can't be seen. Well, I know if that was me or my family, that would cause anxiety, cause a lot of different things, wondering, hey, is there something really wrong with me? Is there something I need to be treated for? And I know it seems like, hey, we talk about numbers, and it is pretty interesting, and that we can see that many people in a month. But the biggest thing I always try to concentrate on, which is what I want us to concentrate on, is these people needed to be seen. We don't get an order for somebody going, hey man, I think it'd be cool to get an x-ray today, or I think it'd be cool to get a CT today. It's not like going to grab a cup of coffee and you're like, hey man, I think I want my, white mocha latte today or whatever. It's people are hurting, they're concerned about something, and a doctor has ordered this procedure for this patient. So why not get them in and get that concern relieved, or get them treated for what they do have? And I think that's where we need to concentrate on numbers more than anything else, is that they're actually patients that need to be seen faster and more efficiently. And at CIS, we're able to accomplish that. So we have 57 sites at CIS today and over 800 employees. One big concentration for us this year was on employees, and that entailed many different aspects. We did manager training, development. We looked at benefits. We went out to the market. We did requests for proposals to get new benefits. We'll be going with Blue Cross Blue Shield next year in 2026. We hope that's an enhancement to our benefits. We feel like it will be. We also did a survey across the board to all our employees. We got a lot of good feedback from that, and we plan on using that and trying to take those things that we've learned from those surveys and trying to make us better as a company and make our employees better by using those results from the surveys. And we hope that you find that as we go along in 2026, you see some of the results from those surveys. So 2025 was a great year for Capital Imaging Services. As a company, we grew over 40% this year. With that comes challenges. With that comes a lot of integration. With that comes a lot of acquisition and trying to onboard all these different companies, employees, etc. So congratulations to our team. We've gotten everyone onboarded. We've gotten all the centers on our systems, and that was quite a challenge, but we thank everybody for trying to make that happen. We still have some things we still try to work out, but that happens no matter if you've been with the company 20 years or you've been with us 2 months. So always working on improving things daily. With these acquisitions, with this growth, Tory Deshotel, our Senior Vice President of Integration and Acquisition, has been integral in getting these 2 companies on board that we acquired this year. So next we're going to be interviewing Tory and finding out, hey, what have you seen with these integrations and acquisitions? And we look forward to interviewing Tory. Hey, welcome to this Capital Imaging Services fourth quarter Chief Chat of 2025. So end of 2025, it's Christmas in 2 days while we're recording this. We are excited about doing a Chief Chat with Tory Deshotel today. Tory is a Senior VP here with Capital Imaging Services, and I've been working with him a long time, so we're excited about this interview today. You and I have worked together a long time, and so this is probably a long time coming, this interview or whatever you want to call it, Chief Chat. But why don't you tell everyone, so I've known you, I thought you were a lot older than you were when I first hired you. And it's sort of funny, me and my family were talking about that this weekend. We were talking about you, like how cool is that? Awesome. So, but they were like, man, I think Tory's looked the same since he's been 21 until he's 35. And I said, I think that's why I thought he was older when I hired him. Yeah. So anyway, but tell everyone how, I guess really how you came to work with me first, and then how you came to work with CIS. And tell us a little bit about your family as well in there, because, man, I've known you from when you were single to married. Now you have three beautiful girls. So just tell us a little bit about all that.
Yeah, no worries. Started off graduating from Louisiana State University. Graduated at an awful time, 2008, 2009, financial crisis. Interned with a background in information technology. And that industry sort of, got in trouble with the financial crisis, and they froze all hiring. So I was in a bind where I needed to find a job, and I was like, okay, what am I doing? Where am I going to go? And luckily, you were putting a posting out on a job needing information technology and healthcare. And I thought, man, I've never done healthcare before. My background's been construction and banking, financial institutions. So let me take a shot at this. And so I applied and interviewed with you 16 years ago. And it's been the best move ever. Learned a lot and come a long way. And so I joined you with your company then. You had a multitude of different healthcare agencies and entities. And focus more on imaging, and my career has always been in imaging since. And I have a family. My wife, as you mentioned before, my wife Jessie is my best friend, been with her my whole life. And we got married when I was 23, and we have 3 beautiful daughters, Jade, Jean, and Josie.
How old?
11, 9, and 7.
Okay.
And my 7-year-old loves YouTube, and this is going to go on YouTube, so she said, smash that like and comment button below, please. So she's going to love that.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's like I felt like I've sort of grown up with you a little bit, which is really cool. So, I think this is a cool story. So I hired Tory, very cool, prestigious title. I gave him the title of Chief Information Officer. And tell everybody how your first day went working as the Chief Information Officer.
Yeah, that was an exciting day. I got my first opportunity at this role, a great title, and I came to work prepared. The slacks, the dress shirt, everything ready to go. And John said, welcome aboard. Let's get in the rafters. We're going to wire up this building. We were expanding and moving to a new location, right. And I think maybe you were testing me, but we stayed.
I don't know if I was. I just needed somebody to help me. So.
But we stayed there all night, punching down cables, wiring up the building, doing IT things.
Yeah, I remember me and you sitting on the floor. I didn't know what I didn't know you were doing. You knew what you were doing. I didn't know what you were doing. But we had insulation all over us from climbing through the attic. That was our first day.
And that was the way we got to know each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's been a great journey since. All right, Tory, so you sort of had a lot of different roles back then with me. We had a lot of different companies. So sort of tell everyone, how did you get into this role that you're currently in? Your title is Senior VP of Operations because you're over the Baton Rouge region, but really, Renee helps you a lot with that, and really you have a great staff there in Baton Rouge. So I know that's not, extremely difficult because they do their job and get it done, and they do real well. But you now do integration work and acquisition work for Capital Imaging Services. Very integral part because we've grown from 19 sites to 57. But tell everybody you got to CIS. Like, how did you get into the role you're in now?
Yeah,
So
definitely. So my backstory is, of course, working with you. And
Yep.
we had imaging centers in the Baton Rouge region before. When those were acquired by Dr. Hamid, 2014, 2015.
15, yep.
So he had bought his first center, acquired a few more, started the enterprise. So my role then was more in information technology, managing the centers. We had an operator, Jimmy Quibido, who was like my mentor as far as
Right.
operations. So he took me underneath his wing. He was nearing retirement and taught me really the business side of outpatient imaging. From there, Capital at its genesis was a handful of companies, and then it started expanding. And of course, my role expanded with that. And with that opportunity came the integration piece, and it's been fantastic. So I've been able to have mentorship from you and Jimmy, Dr. Hamid, and it's evolved from there.
Yeah. All right, Tori, we sort of talked about the different industries, and really when you came to work for me, and we expanded from there, and we did have a lot of different industries we were in at the time. Tell us those industries, how that helped you in your role you're currently in, and how you felt that helped your career as it moved forward.
Yeah, back then we had different opportunities with different agencies. We started off in imaging, that's where I was at, was imaging.
Right.
And then you brought me over to other industries such as nursing facilities, pharmacies, therapy centers, home health and hospice.
Right.
Really, home health and hospice was a big learning curve for us because that's something we started from the ground up. We also acquired. So there's different approaches of how we came into these entities.
Right.
And with Capital, it's very similar. There's acquisitions where we meet new people. We see how they do things. We take what they do well and better and bring that back to our corporate office and our model and see how we can weave that together. And having that experience allows me and the team, it's mostly the team, it's not just me, it's our
Right.
team.
Right.
It's our teamwork of going in and understanding the culture, the philosophy, and how they do things and how we can acquire them into our bigger corporate organization and make it successful for everybody.
Right. So one thing that I guess it is how you moved into this role.
Yeah.
Is you would go in more on an information system type side. And as you were there, I remember you would always come back and you're like, well, John, I think if we do X, X, and X, it'll help them become more efficient, or it'll do this. And hey, by the way, they're doing this. And I think if we bring this to this other company, I think it's going to help them. So tell me how, like, what do you, and again, you and I have never talked about this, even though we've been working together 16 years. What do you, like, what mindset, what do you really, like, when you're going in there, what are you looking for exactly?
The first thing I do is never assume anything. I don't want to go and say what you guys are doing wrong or right or indifferent.
Right.
I want to say, what are you guys doing? Show me how you make the bread. Show me what you do. And then from there, I see how do you incorporate technology. Because in healthcare, it's all technology driven.
Right.
The only way to be successful and adapt is with the technology.
Right.
And so my background in information technology is always leaning on that focus. If you're an accountant, it's always going to be numbers. If it's HR, it's going to be people. Mine is a mix of everything, but it's mostly technology.
Right.
So I want to see what they do well at, and then I see what we can do to help them. And to weave that again together is my pride and joy. It's my favorite thing to do is meet people, see what they're doing, and make them better and more efficient at what they do.
That's awesome.
And that's what we do across Capital.
All right, Tori. So you've been in this role probably close to 5 years now. Tell me what you've seen in that 5 years that you would say, hey, look, we're sort of leaning toward this, or this is more where I'm concentrating right now, or really this is where we have to concentrate more now, because if we don't, we're going to get left behind from an integration standpoint.
Certainly. With healthcare, it's always changing. The technology is always changing. So right now, the biggest hot phrase is the AI. How do we incorporate AI and make it useful for us for our patients, for our referrers, and for our staff.
Right.
For us as a staff, it makes us more efficient. We can accomplish more. So we're evaluating AI constantly. Me and Tim and the rest of the team are constantly looking at what's out there. We have our partners now with our vendors that have AI tools. So what's really cool is that we're studying that, implementing that, doing it at a pace that's adaptable, scalable, and effective, right? Because AI is out there doesn't mean everything's a solution.
Right.
So we make sure it is a solution for us. And it's given us a competitive edge. And again, in healthcare, we are outpatient imaging, so we're competing with a multitude of avenues, right? So we have to do something that makes us stand out among the others. And we're scaling, so we have to make sure we bring in the right technology, and I think we're doing that. So the technology is a big focus point on me, and what I do in studying as we acquire centers is making sure, okay, what can we bring? And if they have an opportunity as well. Sometimes we find that some of these entities have technology that's superior to what we were looking at.
Right.
So then we start thinking about it. We start evolving, and it's really been successful.
And can we do that company-wide?
Can we do that company-wide?
So tell me, that's more for our staff and the patients. One big thing today, though, I know in our world is, like, if you call in right now to a hospital to try to get a CT or MRI, they might tell you they're a month, 2 months out. Whereas we try to keep it, days, maybe week at most, hopefully. What is some technology or AI we've brought in, that's helped in that aspect?
Right. When we receive an order from wherever it comes from, we have a lot of technology that I think gives us an edge over, say, a hospital system. The departments that they have are siloed, right?
Right.
And we are more fluid. We have, when the order comes in, we're able to use technology to read that order, index that order, put that into a usable form, make a pending appointment, reach out to that patient faster than ever now. Not only is the patient communication improved, their benefits, that's always changing, right? When it comes to what requires authorization, what doesn't, being able to obtain those authorizations, give that financial information to that patient and get them on the schedule to where they can come in 2 or 3 days with everything answered, ready to go, as well as the technology of our modalities. We're talking about with AI, there's now new technology when it comes to MRI and CTs, where we can get that scan done faster than ever. So it's a very, very efficient, quick, painless procedure that a patient enjoys versus going to a complex parking garage in a hospital system, for example.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's, to me, and again, I'm seeing it from 30,000 foot view, but watching things y'all put in place, whereas we used to work 6 days a week, do this many studies. Now we can work 5 days a week, actually do more studies than we did in 6 days.
That's right.
So, I mean, I guess it's better overall. It gets patients in that need to be seen, because I get calls literally weekly, like, hey, man, can you help get me in, and that type of thing. I know a lot of our people do. So it's getting patients access to their health care. They want to know if something's wrong or not. And then we're able to do that, though, more efficiently today, which is really cool. And I guess that's been where we've used AI more than anywhere, I guess, in CIS.
Absolutely. It also gives us our competitive advantage.
Right.
When you can do those things on a day-to-day basis, and you continue to do that on your brand just grows. And capital, our growth can really be backed by that status that we have, is that we get an order from a referring physician, we're going to get that patient seen and results back to you as fast as possible with high quality care. All
right, Tory. So every morning, most of us at CIS and management roles, we get there's a journal email. It's called Radiology Business, and it's pretty much used nationwide by diagnostic imaging individuals. Congratulations. You were recently named. You were named as one of the 40 under 40. And it was really a great, I guess all of us at CIS took that as an award for all of us, you know what I mean? Because it was like, okay, man, that's cool. One of our own, it was a 40 under 40. And I remember when you were named, you were looking at all the names on there and you were just like, man, there's some really cool people on here. So tell me what that meant to you to be named and just, sort of, I guess, but probably just what it meant to be named.
Oh, it was exciting to be nominated, and then of course when we found out that the final list was released, and you guys were all emailing me like, "That's congratulations," and I was like, "That's really cool." But really, it's more about CIS. Right. I don't take that as like a win. I do not like individual recognition. So the fact that we got that award gives Capital Imaging a lot of exposure, a lot of acknowledgement that what we're doing is successful at a national level. And we really, it's a team effort. When we do things that we do, like I take that award, it may say Tory Deshotel with the 40 under 40, but that's a capital top 40 company in the country. That's the way I look at it. And the team is really what makes it happen. Every day we wake up, the entire team, that doesn't matter who it is at Capital, from the very, very entry level position to your level at CEO. Yeah. It's a team effort. And that recognition is really awesome. I'm excited. I think more Capital Imaging employees will have opportunities in the future, and I hope they get the spotlight as well.
Yeah, no, I know, like, just I think everybody like that saw it, was like, wow, man, they felt proud. But even though it wasn't naming you, everybody felt proud as a company because it was really cool. It did show, hey, look, we're on a national stage. What we're doing really does matter. So that made it sort of. I guess everybody felt, pride in that. So congratulations again, though. That was awesome. So. All right, so we're going to end the interview on a couple of personal notes, and like I said, we've worked together a long time, so I know a lot about you, more than I know probably about most people in the company. So, two things I'm going to tell people. What was your record as an MMA fighter back in the day, professionally?
Okay.
And then secondly, tell us about your wine making skills back in the day.
Oh, wow. Okay. Good
All
ones.
right, two things.
So the mixed martial arts story, that's hilarious. So my background was in fighting. I boxed and kickboxed through college, and I got into mixed martial arts. And I had a few amateur mixed martial arts fights, and I had one fight that LHSAA became sanctioning body. Before this, mixed martial arts was unregulated.
Right.
When it became regulated, you had to have a pro to amateur on the cards. What they did, without telling me, was they changed my amateur fight to a pro fight, which is probably illegal. But anyways, that happened, right? So I fought a guy out of Texas, and of course I lost a decision. It was a tough fight guy. Just got back from Afghanistan, Iraq. He was a Marine wrestler, older guy, and just a brawly guy. And he beat me with a decision, so I didn't get knocked out or submitted. But it was a pro fight. Little did I know. So
your record as a pro?
So my record as a pro is totally defeated. Most people want to go undefeated, but I am 0-1, and the Google will not take it down.
You've asked them.
I've asked.
That's funny. Anyway, I always thought that was cool. I was like, it's just some claim to fame. I don't know if that's fame, but anyway.
We love to tell the story around Capitol, and people will just Google it and put in Tory Deshotel MMA, and yes, it will come up 0-1, totally defeated.
That's funny.
But the winemaking,
yeah. Tell me a little about that.
Yeah, so my great grandfather was always a winemaker. He was a good old Cajun. He made moonshine and wine, and I had watched that process growing up, and so I like to get into the winemaking business, and so I bought me a little hobby, set up and everything. I would buy some grape juice from California.
You were single at the time, right?
Single and just doing a side hobby, but it got fun, and so I started blending other fruits with the different grapes and got into winemaking, and it's been a hobby. I haven't done it in a while, but I would make large batches at a time, like much more than I needed. And so
tell them where you made it.
I would make it in a glass carboy in my extra bathroom. So I would cook the wine in the extra tub.
I always thought that was funny.
My wife Jessie would say, when you're brewing the yeast, it smells like bread cooking. And so I would say, okay, I'm sorry, it's going to stink for a while. And she would just, Tori, you got to stop. Open a window, the whole house smells like a bakery. But the wine was fantastic, and I would give it.
It really was good, man. I gave it to some people, and they're like, "Man, who makes this? I want to get some more." And I'm like, "It's private.
Yep, private label,
private
single
label.
barrel stash." But I stopped doing it. I need to pick it back up. It's a great hobby, and I would love to teach my daughters.
It's cool. But anyway, I appreciate you doing the interview with me today. Tori and I, man, worked very closely for the past 16 years now. I tell everybody, and I've said it a lot lately, the years go fast and the days go slow. So our days do go slow, but man, thinking that you and I have worked together 16 years, they go by really fast.
It really has.
So it's been cool watching you and your career, and really culminates now with winning that award. It's sort of, I think I take pride in that. I think you should take pride in that you've gotten to this point. It's going to be interesting to see where the next 16 years go. And hopefully they're with Capitol, and we just keep growing like we are now. But anyway, thanks for coming to do the interview today.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right.